Hi, my name is Jo Formosa from Health Dynamics, and this week's newsletter is going to be on a very interesting topic. I see so many women come into the practice who have, you know, PMS, menstrual health issues, a lot of perimenopause, menopause, and then after menopause and estrogen issues, progesterone issues. But there is something in the gut which is called estrobolome. And it's not only in just women, I'm just talking about women in this particular case because we see this a lot. Men also have estrogen. So let's just, not just put them aside. But there are a trillion of microbes in your gut. And the gut is important to digest your food and make sure that your body can handle the amount of estrogen in it. So the estrogen is basically a fancy sort of name for a gut bacteria, the genes that metabolize and reabsorb the estrogen. And so why this is so important is because when the estrogen comes in and this processes the estrogen, it attaches a tag to it, and that tag helps it to become more water soluble. So when it becomes more water soluble in the gut, it's able to release out of your gut through the stool and to eliminate it if you have an over excess of estrogen, or help you to absorb it to be able to help your estrogen and things like that as well. You have something called beta-glucuronidase in the body, and we have a look at this when we're looking at your gut microbiome. So the gut microbiome is so important to look at beta-glucuronidase and whether it's high or low, whether you have the ability for it to help eliminate toxins, or it's accumulating a lot of inflammation in your system. And so this can, if this is a problem, it can build up harmful effects of, estrogen causing an over production in your system. And so metabolically, you're not digesting it, you're not absorbing it, you're not secreting it. And so then all of the hormonal issues become. So this is where we start to see the estrogen dominant cancer, breast cancer, ovarian cancer, and things like that. We see endometriosis because we see the collection of the ability of that not being able to be released. We see PCOS, and we see all the other perimenopause, menopausal, sort of issues as well. So one of the things that I see with clients is that when we fix their gut and when we get them to eat the right types of foods to help to eliminate the inflammation and toxins, and at the moment we're running a detoxification program, and we're seeing a lot of menopausal women who are on the program who are like, I've never felt this good in my whole entire life. Now, what are we doing? We are flushing out that inflammation. We're getting the gut working. We're giving them foods. We're giving them food as medicine. They're having real food that is actually helping them to digest the toxins, like 30 different plant-like food, vegetables, fruits, pulses, nuts, and seeds. All of these things help with that microbiome, help with that gut lining, and helps to put things in. Now, fermented food is something that we talk about as well. Fermented food is overused. Kombucha, sauerkraut, kefir, like people are just chugging it down thinking, oh, this is really good to do, but it's actually causing too much sourness, too much fermentation, which is causing too much gas, which is causing this overload in the gut. So a little bit is okay, but it's used as more like a condiment, right? Prebiotic fibers that we use to help. We use onions and garlic and leek, asparagus. Green banana is actually also really good. This helps you to build up that good bacteria as well. Limit the antibiotic. I had one client who I saw the other day who was getting constant UTI infections. Now, UTI infections come a lot from that estrogen overload or not production of that estrogen. She had PCOS, she had endometriosis, she had all of these different things going on, but that she's on constant antibiotics for UTI infections. So we need to treat the root cause of the problem, not just blankly just keep treating the symptom and actually wearing down that gut. And also the mindfulness of your lifestyle. So chronic stress, sleep disturbance, like we call these the big rocks. So when you get the big rocks, sort of like definitely your sleep affects your adrenals. So if you are not having good quality sleep, or you're scrolling on, social media, you're watching a lot of screen time, and the best time to be in bed is before 10, because 10 to 2 is when your liver detoxifies. So making sure that that is able to be put together and things like that as well. Okay, I'm going to show you a sample report so you can see how we have a look at the gut and how we can see whether we know that possibly this person is not digesting properly. So this is just a sample report from Nutripath. So we use a company called Nutripath, and there's a test called Complete Microbiome. We use this a lot on cases, especially because the clients that come into us are quite chronic and they have quite a lot of things going on. I've had clients that have come in, their blood pathology are completely fine, but when we take a look under the hood, their gut is not good, hair tissue analysis is not good. You know, I've had people who have been on HRT, and when we do their urine tests for all of their hormones are like rock bottom. So again, that's because the gut is not metabolizing and the liver is not able to have clearance, and the liver's job is to conjugate those hormones. So when we're looking at the microscopic, we're looking at the stool form, the mucus, blood, but when we come down to here, we're looking at the short chain fatty acids. So it's like a traffic light system. So how well is this person digesting their body and able to put that into play? So then we have a look at calopectin. Calopectin is like gut inflammation. So that gives us a little bit of an insight. What is going on in the gut? How come it's inflamed? Is there something else going on? Secretory IgA. So when we're looking at this low, we're looking at allergies, or we're looking at, you know, possibly a lot of stress. But this is the beta-glucuronidase. So we can see this person's actually okay. But if they're in the red zone, we want it deep here in the green. So we want to have that gut mucus looking good. We'll see here the sterocrit is quite high, so we know the liver is having some trouble. But then we have all these parasites, all this bacteria, and some candida. So if we have all of those things going on, this can be a really serious issue for the gut, and that microbiome is not actually working well. And if that microbiome is not working well, the estrogen in the system doesn't help that to support either. So this will just give you a little bit of an insight of understanding what else is in the gut. How do we support estrogen metabolizing, both in men and women, but women specifically, because women are having a lot of estrogen depletion, especially in that menopausal time, but overuse or over accumulation of it sometimes in that pre-time as well, especially if there's a lot of contraception pills and different things being used. The body is not being able to metabolize and clear that out through the urine system, and it's becoming an accumulation of that as well. So I hope that's helped to just have another bit of an insight of what else that can look like. Have a look at the article, read the article, and there's some tips for you to take into action. If you do one thing per week, or see that we have one thing that you could make a change in your health, then you are moving towards good health. And good health is the dynamic expression of life. And if you're dynamically expressing yourself, you're living your best life. Take care.